Rolling. All set. Mic is here. Looking presentable. Hello everyone. My name is Sakshi. I started talking about my story last year in August 2025. I converted my private Instagram account to public and I started talking about my childhood traumas, how my mother left when I was just 12 years old. Simultaneously, my father abandoned me and my brother locked in a room for 4 days without food when I called the Child Protection Services and they placed me and my brother in orphanages in India, in New Delhi. Growing up in orphanages, I was almost 14 and a half when I was put into orphanages. When I say orphanages, I was put into one and then I was shifted to another one 9 months after living in the first one. There are so many stories that I have of my childhood, but most of them I want to tell to the internet, everybody on the internet, is because if it helps one person, if it inspires one person, or if it impacts your own life to learn something or resonate with any of my stories, I think it'll make me very happy. I have gained 20.5 thousand followers on Instagram. So many people have related to my story. So many people have come forward saying that they have faced something very similar and they feel inspired when they hear that even after going through so much abuse in my life, I had managed to take care of my brother who has special needs. I received 100% scholarship at the top university in the world for my master's degree, and I have been working in London for the last 5 years and in a very happy relationship, married to a beautiful husband who's from Bulgaria, and have created this peaceful life for myself. I am not gonna say that my past still doesn't come in my present. It comes in the form of nightmares. It comes when something happens in the office, which, so for example, if I fear that I might get redundant because there's so many companies that are making people redundant, I all of those past experiences come back as consistent negative thoughts, uncontrollable negative thoughts, lack of sleep, extreme amount of stress, and nightmares. But I wanted to tell my stories and share it in real life to tell people how I'm dealing with them. It's one step at a time, but I wanted to share also because of the reason, because I'm fumbling a lot. This is my first video, so I am literally thinking of this camera as my friend and pouring my heart out, I have started writing my book as well, and as I'm writing each and every event that had happened in my life, I am reminded of the fact how strong I have been as a child. Not many people truly believe the strength a child holds. You know, as a child, I was a mother to my brother because the mother never really was there. The father hardly was ever involved. So I was a mother. I was a mother and a father to my brother. I had cleaned his poop. I have, taken care of him as a child, as he was my child. And when they were fighting, my mother and father were always fighting. There isn't a single day I remember where I have seen them loving each other. Every day, my father would come home, pick anything from the kitchen, and start hitting the mother out of no reason. He had extreme anger issues, and what I can understand as an adult right now, that he had a lot of frustration built up, and he would just come home, pick any pan or a pot from the kitchen and start hitting the mother. And I call them the father and the mother because they eventually ended up abandoning me and my brother. My mother left when I was 12. My father simultaneously sold our grandmother's house and put us in a rental apartment. Shouldn't be even called an apartment. It was just a room where the bathroom and the kitchen were outside of the room. So he locked us from outside one day, and we were sleeping. He left like about 6 a.m. We were still sleeping. He locked the room from outside, and we were in the room for like 3-4 days. That's when I called Child Protection Services, who broke the lock, evacuated both of us. My brother had stomach pains, I had stomach pains, and that very day they took us to Child Welfare Committee. It was like a small court for children, and they heard me, they heard my brother, and they literally said, we cannot believe that this is happening to you. You look like you come from a very good family. How can they do this to you? Let us place you in an orphanage. It's a very good orphanage. I was very hesitant. I said, we are not orphans. Our parents are very much alive, but they just don't care. They should be held accountable and all of that. And they said they will be held accountable, but currently we cannot let you go back. You're a 14-year-old girl, and this is a very good orphanage. Just stay there for 2-3 days, and we'll check in with you. We'll check in with your brother, how you're doing, and we'll try and find out where your father is, because by the time he was a runaway, almost a runaway. He was not picking up his calls, anything. The only way I could call Child Protection Services, because it's a toll-free number. I didn't have any balance in my phone. And they placed me and my brother in an orphanage. I still remember the first steps I took. I was so scared, very nervous, but I still went on. I held my brother's hand and I was like, nothing could be worse than this, you know. I was 14 and a half. My brother was 12, half paralyzed. Held my brother's hand and walked into that orphanage. And that was the best thing that happened to us. I met some amazing people. It was a private NGO. And I remember seeing other kids over there. Other kids were far younger than us. I was the eldest one, and I met the people who have started that orphanage. Very well educated people. They heard me and my story, and they sympathized with what had happened, and the rest is history. I never left this system. They placed me to a different orphanage right after that, because that orphanage was only for younger kids. But I stayed in touch with all the founders and the trustees of that orphanage, volunteers of that orphanage. And when I was shifted, I was 15 and a half. I think after 9 months I was shifted to a different orphanage, and there also I met amazing people who have given their entire lives for the welfare of underprivileged children like us. And it was mind boggling. It was the time when I learned what it meant to have a safe roof over your head consistently, not think about that somebody would come and hit you or hurt you in any other way, or hurt your brother. There were meals 3 times a day, and that's when I learned the power of a stable home, a stable childhood. I was almost 16, and in Indian foster care system, you can only stay in an orphanage or in an NGO until you're the age of 18. So I only had 2 years until I was there. After that, you find a job or you continue your studies if the private organization allows, or is able to fund your education. But I am going to stop this story now, because this is my first video, and it's almost 9 minutes. There will be no editing, nothing at all. But I'm gonna end this video by saying, from going through some horrendous things in my childhood, to going to orphanages in India, and then securing 100% scholarship at the university, which is one of the top universities in the world, and working in London for the last 5 years, being married. I am now 30 years old. I really want to do this. I really want to tell my story to the world. And yeah, I'm gonna try and make one video every day. And I'm gonna start taking you through bits and pieces of my story, building up to who I am today, what I have learned from my past. And if it helps any of you, please let me know in the comment sections below. And of course, just like any YouTuber, subscribe, like, share if you like it. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.